Hi guys, okay, so we're going to do the first question for our evaluations. That's going to read out the question and then we'll just talk through the answer.
In what ways does your media product use, develop or challenge forms and conventions of real media products?
Okay, so I think the first thing we'll probably just break it down and talk about like sound, so how we use them to create conventions, and then connotations as well, and also like camera editing and mise en scène. So does anyone have any ideas for, let's go editing?
Okay.
Go on then, French.
So with the colour red, we decided to have our whole film, apart from the beginning sequence bit in the Cook and Butchers, in black and white, and then have the bag just in red. And we thought we used the colour red and to represent like blood and like give horror connotations to support the thriller genre.
No, we had the titles in red as well, because that was like depicting the blood, and we had like the typing, so it's like maybe the murderer was typing it, we don't know
And
as
because
well.
it's like black and white, the title
and
to be
the fact that the start of it's in colour shows that leads forward into the black and white sequence.
yeah.
So there's a link between that. So also, as Connor was talking about the font, so we kind of like went along the idea of, I don't know if you've seen the invitation,
American typewriter.
the whole typewriter effect, because that's what like the normal convention you have in a thriller genre.
Yeah.
So we use that,
Like
yeah,
secrecy
suited
and
world,
stuff.
and you could also relate that to, because the colour being red, obviously the blood as well, as Connor said.
The colour of the bag being...
Well, you also had like, apart from the editing, you had like obvious connotations like the meat chopping and stuff like that, but there was like stuff that the audience aren't meant to see, like the editing and stuff like that. That's also
and then
meant to
that links in with the sound as well, how we had the radio in the background, so that would link and emphasise the fact that the meat is relating to a body and there is actually like a big event going on.
We're giving the audience things to think about, but we're not actually giving them like the fonts.
Yeah, and that's the main idea about how a thriller sequence and a genre works.
Yeah.
How you give the ideas, you're not actually like, you're not giving the answers. Next one, let's talk about mise en scène. So first point I was thinking about how the whole sequence starts transition from a rural area, so Cookham, and then it goes into like an urban city, so London. So the main bit about London, everyone knows the place, so it's like a hotspot of almost like the world. And it's busy, so
it's crowded.
Yeah,
so
it's
everyone
crowded.
kind of knows where it is, what's going on, and it kind of represents like the bags. It's like no one really knows about it, but it's in such a busy area.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how you can like hinder the fact that there's like stuff going on in the scale of like the whole city.
We had it start in Cookham because we wanted it to be like a murder can take place anywhere.
Yeah.
And the fact is that there's two separate locations. You've got like one really like quiet, secluded area, and then you've got London, which is really busy. So you can see that anyone could be in on the murder.
Yeah, it shows the depth of how far the bag's been travelled as well.
Like the journey, journey is taken.
Yeah.
What else haven't talked about? We kind of covered some. We could go more into it. So maybe the music we used.
Create tension and suspense, like
and it
in that.
allowed us to like edit on the beat and stuff, which like
Yeah.
maintained
Yeah,
the
exactly.
audience's like attention.
Keeps flow of action up as well.
Helps like
crucial
the
It had quite an obvious beat. It was like boom, boom, but and that helped with like the meat chopping as well.
Easy to edit
like
on as well.
heartbeat and stuff.
It helps with like the editing because it's easier to edit on a beat than trying to just do
like especially with the ellipsis sequence where they're walking.
Especially with the ellipsis sequence.
Yeah.
We talked about the characters we used, so like why we used members of the public and stuff like that.
That's second
we
It's not really
no, we can incorporate that into this as well.
Okay, yeah.
Like to lead it on. Well, okay. So we basically wanted to have like all age ranges as well because we wanted to show that anyone can be in on this.
Yeah, they're all like conveyed as like
Variety of
innocent people, but the demographics are like old people, young people,
Like all given.
different genders, different like ethnic minorities, all that kind of ideas.
All given like an equal, not dominance, but like submissiveness, but like
Chance.
class, like and status
Class
and
as
stuff
well, yeah.
during it. So until the end when the man opens up the bag, like that's like the only time we focus in on like one specific character.
If we're talking
and
about
the butcher, I guess, but
if we're talking about characters, the other thing with ours is that so normally in a thriller type film you have like an actor like as a main character, but our main character would be thought of as the bag itself.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting in that sense how we've incorporated so many random people to be a part of the bag character to build up the image and the
it's also
the bag is
trying to show that no one's innocent. You know, and like everyone has their like dark side to it. You know,
because there's no real one person that stands.
So how have we challenged thriller as a genre? the first thing we did was the colour splashing, so you wouldn't normally generally see that in a thriller film. So that's mainly challenging it, as it's because we're like wanting to portray the bag as almost like a character, and that's the main character throughout the opening sequence.
So we've challenged the thriller genre by having a bag as a main character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the opening sequence.
Yeah.
So it shows the dominance of it, and that's why the start of it's in colour.
Mm-hmm.
Also challenged the thriller as a genre in the fact that we didn't focus on one main character, and throughout the opening sequence everyone was as a group, and that portrayed them as like general public, and they were all in one organisation. So that's one thing we challenged.
So in thrillers there's more...
It's normally set out.
It's a set out.
It's more organised.
So you would see
Yeah.
see one person with a gun or whatever on
exactly.
a chase.
Yeah.
Whereas here there's a group and you don't know who the
multiple.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's multiple people could be like the end person.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, so basically, to add on to that, the subtleness, we challenged James Bond in which one was it, Skyfall?
Yeah.
Skyfall, yeah.
Yeah, when he was
Underground.
filming in the tube. It was a really obvious panicky chase scene between two characters, and it was clear to the audience who was the victim and who was the bad guy in it. Whereas when my character was walking through the tube, it was really subtle, but you could still see like the paranoia through being on the phone and like looking around and stuff. But it was like,
quite discreet, it wasn't
yeah,
really
other
obvious.
people were really oblivious to
Yeah.
what's happening. So, and like the fact that I had a dead body in my bag. So, yeah.
Well, supposedly.
Well, a dead body.
Yeah. What other films did we challenge as well? We've also challenged Dexter.
Yeah.
With the shaving and the cutting of the
Yeah,
meat.
cut-
Yeah,
So in Dexter, you see a guy shaving, and as he's shaving, he cuts himself. So that's a reference to the colour of red and the reference of the blood as well. And then with ours, we're cutting meat in a butcher's. So you kind of see the similarity
it's
between
the same
two of them.
concept, the whole of Dexter and the start of the
There's a similarity because we use quite a lot of close-ups in our opening as well to like make the meat look quite grotesque,
Intensifying it.
and it intensifies it. So that's quite similar to Dexter.
Yeah.
How have we challenged it?
You could also say though, because
we
like,
haven't.
the shaving,
That's just an influence.
the shaving and the cutting of the meat, they're just like everyday things. So partly you don't suspect them as actually being bad things, almost in a sense. So like with ours, you could just see a guy cutting meat. That could just be like a normal everyday thing. And with it being filmed in the butcher's, that's what you suspect.
Let's all start by clicking.
Wait. We're gonna start singing with it. Cheesy smile. Okay, ready. Hang on, just right. Sound.
Wait, should we get up the question first?
Oh yeah.
Get up the question first.
Alright.
Pause this.
Sound.
Get up the question.
Yeah.
It's professional, isn't it?
Right.